Hello, everybody. Good morning from South Africa. We have a very great time here in Johannesburg, and it's going to be a very great one. Why? Because we are here to showcase what we, Africa, are doing in our continent. And the good thing about it is that the brand is trending, the name is out there. And it's the right time that we having a conversation that's have to do with how can we be a successful businessmen and women? This is a breakfast show from the African Portal Radio TV International. So if you are connecting, kindly share this program and please tell somebody also to watch this podcast because it's going to be a very great one for you because you're going to learn a lot of things from it. We have topics that we are going to be dealing with to validate a business idea before you launch it. I mean, we are here, we are not talking about the theory aspect of it, but we are talking about the practical aspect of it. Later in the program, you are going to see some of the things that we're going to show you about this company called Jollof Cafe. Jollof Cafe is a brand that is trending across Africa, and we want to see the idea behind it. How do you validate the business idea before launching it? So join me to connect with the owner, the CEO of Jollof Cafe Group here in Santin in Johannesburg. Uh, Good morning to you, and how are you this morning?
I'm all right. Thank you so much. It's such a great pleasure to be here.
Indeed, indeed. We are having a very great time. I mean, the last time we had a conversation with you is about the business and how the business is doing.
Oh,
But we realize that the business have take a new shape
mm.
and you are gaining more ground. We decide to like, let's come in and hear how do you do it? The topic we are going to be discussing this morning is about validating a business idea before launching it. Where and how do you start this? And what make you get to where you are right now?
Oh, thank you so much, African Porter. Uh, it's such a delight to be on this program and to share my insights on business validation. I think the topic speaks for itself. Um, I say to my mentees that the best way to validate if your business is viable is to actually know if you have real customers. And validating the viability of your customers. Are there people willing and ready to buy this product? Is the number one step in validating any business idea. And secondly, is that are this group of people willing to pay the right price for the product? Because there's one thing to identify a group of people who you think you can solve a problem for. There is another thing for those group of people to have the appetite or the willingness to pay the right price for that business to remain sustainable. And I think those are the two things that we had to solve at a very early stage when we started this business to say that who are the customers? Who do we want to sell to? Where are they located? What is their profile? How do we meet them? What is their buying behavior? What is their consumption habits? All those things we had to do it and do a thorough analysis and take a firm position on location mapping. Where do we situate our business to be able to meet these customers that we've identified? Where are they staying? Are they everywhere? No, there are specific places where they stay. There's a specific behavioral pattern that they have. All of these are some of the data that we have to gather when we started in 2021. And more importantly, is the willingness to pay. I mean, and not just to pay, but to pay the right price. You will find out that so many people start business because somebody else is doing the business. There is no definite research into the idea. Uh, when you talk about ideation is not just to say that, oh, I think I can sell food. Everybody eats food. Everybody consumes food. Food is an essential part of human existence. But in ideating your business concept, what kind of food do you want to sell? How do these people consume their food? How do they like to consume their food? Those questions needs to be answered. And that's one of the things that we had to do when we started in January 2021. For the first 3 months of our business, we were not operating. All I did then was just sitting on my table, doing my thorough business analysis to say, and why do we say they are there in the Johannesburg? Now, number one, Johannesburg is a metropolitan environment. A lot of professionals around, family is top notch on people's way of life in the environment we wanted to situate. We wanted people that are very diverse in their mindset and their thinking. We were not setting up for Nigerians. I always say Jollof Cafe was never set out to set up for Nigerians from the very first instance. We wanted we set up for Africans who love African food. And so if you look at our menu, it's extremely very diverse. There's seafood there, there's traditional meal there, there's Ghanaian food, because we wanted people who like to experiment with cuisines. And these are some of the things that also informed our choice of location. And more importantly, after we have been able to identify the location where these people are, we said, what is their buying power like? Uh, and I always say to my team that I had to use myself as a case study because I'm a professional. I've worked with Economic and Financial Crimes Commission for more than 6 years. Worked with the Bank of Industry for 10 years, from 2014 to 2024. So I haven't spent over 15 years in the corporate. I knew that there is a way I like to consume things. I didn't grow up I lived in Nigeria. I didn't grow up in the outskirts. I grew up in Maitama. Maitama is the heart of Abuja. So growing up, I knew how our parents consume food, and I knew the kind of exposure we're giving, the kind of priority we're giving to anything we consume. So I had to look for people that are like myself, people who are professionals, who are busy, but they want to also consume very nice meal. Ordinarily, they will have a chef at home, but why don't you replace their personal chef and give them this kind of quality that their chef will give to them? And these are some of the things that questions we have to resolve. Uh, Money sometimes is not their problem, especially if the quality is good. So we have to make sure that we source the right ingredients. We have to make sure that the input into our food is never compromised. And besides that, we also have to make sure that we're consistent because consistency is a very important variable in building anything in life. People must be predictable, you must be reliable, you must be consistent. People must understand the kind of offering that you are bringing to the table, not just once or twice. It must be consistent every day. So we have to work on our system to make sure that we are able to deliver value on a consistent basis. And that's one thing that I also love as a profile, as a customer. I love consistent life pattern. And I decided I was going to offer the same thing to my customers. And I also had to price the meal in in a way that within my within my affordability framework, to say that if I want this level of quality, if I want this level of presentation, if I want this level of attention to detail in what I put into my tummy, how much am I willing to pay for it? I answer that question, so it kind of helped me to then set my price to say, you know what, if I'm getting this, I'll be willing to. People go to shop right to shop, and some people go to Willis to shop. They are all human beings, but people just pick their preference, and the price points are different. Price at the end of the day is often not a major factor in the kind of people that we sell to. The quality, the quality of what they are buying is more important to them, and that is why they are willing to pay any price point to achieve that particular quality. And more importantly, like, I also say that I told myself that, okay, if I want to eat food, for instance, my son would ask me, Daddy, I want to eat food. We'll go to different restaurants. So, Daddy, I want home food. And I'll ask myself, I have a family, I have a wife of more than 10 years. If I'm going to take my family out to eat, where would I want to take them to? Will I want to take them to where safety can be guaranteed? The environment is not predictable. Security can be compromised. The ambience is not conducive. No, I believe that whether you're consuming Chinese food, Italian food, African food, food is food, and the presentation must meet certain threshold. And that's why I had to create an environment where I believe I would be comfortable to eat in. I would go to very fancy restaurant to eat without minding the price because for me, the environment speaks for itself. And so, Jollof Cafe, we needed to create that type of environment that professionals, tourists, international visitors can feel comfortable consuming food regardless of whether it's Italian or Chinese or African food. So for me, the locale, the environment was as important. And that's why you see the choice of our environment. We were here in Santin. We have another branch in Kailan Waterfall, one of the prime locations in Johannesburg. Our branch in Cape Town is located at the V&E waterfront. In fact, as I speak right now, we're the only Nigerian or African restaurants there at the V&E waterfront. Why are we making those level of investments? Because we believe that people must, food must be presented properly. People must eat and feel that the restaurant has met all the regulatory compliances. Health checked, compliance checked, hygiene checked, environmental assessment check. All those factors are very important to us because food is power. Food is what goes into your body, and you have to be sure that what goes into your body is not going to make you sick. And it starts from the environment where you even consume this food. How hygienic is the environment? How serene is the environment? How conducive is the environment? How safe is the environment? All of those factors we have to put into in place. Even our location at Kloof as well. And I think lastly, in validating this business concept for us is to say that are we able to communicate? Because communication is also important. So you see the type of marketing that we do. We're very innovative in our marketing strategy. We tell people, we ask ourselves that I told myself, I said, how do I like to consume communication? How do I like to be sold to? What is that thing that I can never do without? It's digital, my mobile phone. If I'm in the office, I'm watching TV, maybe I'm watching CNN or I'm watching news. That means if you sell to me while watching news, then I can't resonate because you're meeting me at my media consumption level. But one thing that is constantly with me because I'm a businessman is my mobile phone. So we decided at the very beginning of our business is we have to target our customers where they consume media. So you will see that our digital marketing strategy is extremely very effective. It's almost hard for you to flip your phone and go to Uber Eats right now. I think one of the first brands you will see, African brands, is Jollof Cafe. We prioritize that. Any touch points, Google, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all of those places, we ensure that we are communicating to people that matter because that is how we can reach them. And so that is another way for you to validate your business to say that how can I target the people that are most important to me, to my business survival? Where are they? How do they consume media? How can I reach them? How can I sell to them? And have you created a very good funnel? Because there's always a difference between marketing and sales. A lot of businesses create marketing, but they've not developed a very strong funnel for that marketing to translate into sales. So, for instance, let me give you an example. If you go to Jollof Cafe dashboard on Uber Eats right now, we have over 2.5 million people who visited our store on the strength of our marketing. 2.5 million people visited our store on Uber Eats. That is one of the platforms we work with. We were able to do 31% conversion of that 2.1%. And what it means to you is that if you market to 100 people, out of that 100 people, you must have developed a very good funnel that will make you at least funnel value out of, let's say, 30% from the 100% output that you have put into the marketplace. And that is one thing that we are so good at. We understand how to funnel value from our marketing spend. And that is one. So you find us at very strategic touch points where people make buying decisions. So all of these variables, the quality of the product, the price point that your customers can afford, uh, the places where you distribute your product, the kind of promotion, your promotional strategy, the payment process. How do people? Because people they underemphasize the importance of simple things. How people pay for your product. How easy is it for people to to fulfill payment? So we make sure that if you go on our website right now, www.jollofcafe.co.za, people can buy there, they can pay with cash, they can pay with card, we do a COD, payment on delivery. All of we create those payment infrastructure so that there are no barriers to decision making. And these are all the variables that you have to put in place to make sure that your business succeeds in the marketplace. Away from, oh, I'm selling Nigerian food. You're selling Nigerian food, but they are not all. Our 60% of our customers are not Nigerians. All of these variables that I've mentioned, they inform how customers engage with your brand. And at the end of the day, they contribute to the success of your brand. Product might be somebody's consideration. Payment process might be another person's consideration. The place of distribution might be somebody's consideration. Price point might be another person's consideration. The processes that you have put in place might be somebody's consideration. Somebody else, it's the platform that you have created. So you cannot but pay attention to all of these variables so that you are able to expand your basket and you're able to capture more people regardless of what triggers they are buying.
Wow, over 5 years in the business, after when you developed your business idea, let's look at the starting point. Let's look at the earlier stage of your business. What are the challenges that make your own work become something you need to revisit?
Sorry. The challenges are always there. Like I said, um, coming from the banking sector, working with the Bank of Industry, I was part of a project called Project Phoenix. I was very fortunate to work very in close proximity to one of the managing director in Bank of Industry at that time is uh, Mr. Rashid Olalua. He was an executive director in UBA. In fact, Rashid Olalua was one of the persons that catalyzes the expansion of UBA into almost 18 African countries. So when it is an expert at branch development, and whether you're talking about bank branch development or you're talking about restaurant branch development, franchising, they all follow the same pattern. When Mr. Rashid Olalua came into the Bank of Industry, he hired KPMG to develop a project template called Project Phoenix. The idea behind the project was to move Bank of Industry from regional bank to state banks. Bank of Industry has a branch in all the regions plus Abuja. So approximately about 7 branches servicing the entire Nigeria. And Mr. Rashid Alola said, no, that is not right. People, you cannot be in Oshogbo and you have to travel to Lagos to go and process an application. You cannot be in Kogi and you have to travel to the nearest maybe 1 or 2 states before you can. That efficiency is just not going to be guaranteed. And that was how we're able to move Bank of Industry into all the 36 states. And that quadrupled our revenue because accessibility, ease of doing business, and so many other variables that problem solved. So when I launched Jollof Cafe, for me in my head, it was just basically replacing money with food. Nothing changes. Food is an essential commodity. Money is an essential commodity. But the systems that needs to be in place for money to be accessible, to serve its purpose, must be efficient. And that is the same thing with food. So what I did was just I moved food, I removed money, and I put food, and then use the same template. So those early days of learning in the Bank of Industry had already helped me to resolve some of those operational challenges, system building, and so many other things. So I would say that I had some sort of unfair advantage in that regard. But that doesn't mean that there weren't challenges, because one of the key challenges that we had to face was consistency. When you are running one branch, it's easy for you to set up a 10-man team around one particular product offering. Close monitoring, you are there every day, you are monitoring what they are doing, you're making decisions. But when you now start replicating systems into different locations, it becomes a problem. The first thing you're going to face is consistency. The food must be consistent. People must walk into Jollof Cafe Santin and it must taste the same as Jollof Cafe Cape Town. There mustn't be any difference in the service and the product. So that was one major challenge that we had to resolve. That's one. Second challenge that we had to resolve, like any business coming into an environment, is education. We had to resolve the issue of educating the local on the importance of the food. Paper money wasn't the first money that was launched in this world. We had to transition from trade by barter. When people invented paper money, they had to educate people that no, this is paper money, but you can still use it to exchange goods and services instead of trade by barter. That transition was a big challenge from trade by barter system to money system. Bringing West African food into South Africa. So the culture is different, the food is different, the recipe is different, the palate is different. So for us, educating our target market, who are professionals, who are tourists from Europe, from America, from all around the world, who are families, who are South Africans, educating them on the palate, the taste, the spice level, the process we adopt in food preparation, the health benefits of those food. You know, they always say that there's this saying that West Africans are big, they are tall, they are huge, and I say that a large proportion of that is as a result of food we consume. All of those benefits needed to be communicated. Why should I eat a goosey melon soup? What are the health benefits of melon soup? What does it do to your body when you eat melon soup? Why should I eat uh, why should I eat habanero? What are the health benefits of habanero? What does habanero do to your body? Why do West Africans like habanero? Why is our food spicy? What are the benefits of spicy food? All of those were initial challenges that I had to resolve, especially considering the kind of market that I wanted to target. So communicating the effectiveness, the benefits, material benefits, the health benefits to my target market was a big challenge. And lastly, I would say that um, hiring the right team has also been a challenge in the sense that uh, you need people who have native knowledge, native ability to be able to create. Because there's one thing to go to culinary school and you're taught the platings and all that other continental dish, but now we're talking about African food. So a, 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 a need for native knowledge. So hiring the right people or training the right people to be able to produce the quality without compromise was also a challenge. So we had issues with training South African locals. We had issues with educating our target markets on the benefits of the product, and yeah, those are the main issues that I would say actually impeded our growth because we would have moved at a geometrical rate in terms of branch expansion based on our knowledge. But because we needed to resolve some of these operational challenges, and so that slowed us. Instead of opening two branch or three branch in a year, we would open two or one, so that we can take care of those issues and then scale at a level that is organic.
All right. Looking at the response from the people, we have opportunity to go and visit your website. Also, looking at your social media, what people say about your product and all that. A lot of people will be listening to us. This is not a conversation just for us to talk. It's for somebody out there listening to us that also having an idea, putting everything together, but implementation become a problem. So why do we need to engage people like you is to also educate them on how to implement the idea. So people will be saying, no, it's because you have all what it takes to do the business. That is why it's easy for you. Do you have everything you needed to start the business when?
No, no. I will say categorically no. Um, there's a saying that the more we grow, the more we learn. In fact, I started business in the media space. My first business in South Africa was creating movies and selling to multi-choice. In fact, my first business transaction in South Africa was to partner with a local South African film producer, and we created a movie called The Cult. We sold that movie to Zanzi Magic, and we were able to recoup our investment from that movie. So I think for me, one thing that is very important is the skill set. See, I transitioned from selling media content to selling food uh, because I had to study the market, the business operating environment. I noticed that majority of the people in my operating environment are already used to certain media consumption habits. And if they are going to consume a non-South African content, they would take advantage of platforms like YouTube, like the DVDs in the market. So creating West African titles in South Africa was a big challenge for me because the audience become very, I mean, it's actually very small. Uh, Hiring talents, actors with nuances, with language barriers. So I had to study the challenges of language, challenges of culture, challenges of media consumption habits, challenges of distribution. And I just noticed that it wasn't a viable business, considering the competition in the market. So, as an entrepreneur, the first thing is you must develop the entrepreneurial skill. And the definition of an entrepreneurial skill of an entrepreneur, I always say, is that somebody who is able to identify a problem. You cannot be a successful entrepreneur if you don't have eyes for identifying problems. You have to identify problems, and you have to be realistic with yourself that this problem that I've identified, what is the viability of that problem, and what is the viability of me solving that problem and creating value from that solution. If it is, if you don't think you have substantial or enough material buying condition, like we said, identifying your target market, are they willing to buy it at the price point that you're offering? If those variables are not there, just move to other things. And that was what I moved, what I did. So it's not a function of you have it all. It's a function of you have to pay attention to your environment. You have to know what the people need. You have to know the sector where you can best generate value. And you have to know how to package the solution in a way that resolves people's problem. I knew from Let me give you a typical example. When I came here, my son had a challenge then, so we had to be in the hospital for a while. And my son, when he was being in the hospital, will say, "Daddy, I need real food." After eating all the food given to him at Mediclinic in Parktown, he will say to me, "Daddy, I need real food," and I will have to drive to Yovel or Alaja somewhere to go and get food. For me, it was also a cultural shock because I'm not used to consuming food that way, you know, or driving that far or to certain environments where I don't feel safe. So I already knew that there was a problem with uh, accessibility to the product in a way that resonates with my life or my standard of living. And so when I had the opportunity to start, remember the first thing that I've identified a problem, and I knew that that problem the solution to that problem at the time did not fit perfectly into my lifestyle as a professional. So when I wanted to pivot from media into food, all I needed to do was to say, yes, is food a problem? Yes. Is access to quality food a problem? Yes. But however, how do I ensure that I resolve that problem for people within certain social, political, and economic class? I had to start investigate. So you have to understand who are the market. Who do you want to resolve that problem for? Where is the market? Which market are you trying to resolve the problem for? Because if you don't resolve that question, you're going to be everywhere. So you come in here now. I mean, this is something, and the, the cost of setting up this branch cost isn't a million, right? We embark on that investment because we understand our market. So if you come into this space and you don't have in-depth knowledge of your market, you can as well just go and carry the money and point it into the ocean. But we have the confidence that this investment is going to be viable because we understand our market, because we've identified a problem, and because we're trying to marry the market that we've identified with the problem we've identified and create a viable solution that fits for purpose. So these are some of the things that you have to really and really look into as an entrepreneur, not just waiting for maybe one AI or one thing to resolve all this. You have to do the work. And if you don't do the work, or if you do not acquire the skill needed to do the work, you're going to fail.
Okay, you said it and you say it very well, but why business fail in Africa? Because we have a very big record. In some of the businesses start very well but fail. Is it a lack of research, or what exactly do you think is the reason?
See, I was sharing with my wife. I said the first 5 years of anything you do in life. In fact, they will tell you that the child fertility rate, any child that crosses age 5, the likelihood of that child dying is very minimal. But between age 0 and 5, that is when you have the largest child mortality rate. Let's go into marriage or relationship. Most marriages face the biggest challenge of their life in the first 5 years. Most businesses face the biggest challenge of their life in the first 5 years. In fact, we clocked five this year. And one thing I can tell you why businesses fail is lack of preparation. Lack of preparation. If you want to go into marriage, for instance, if you are prepared for that situation, when those challenges come, your mind is already resolved that there will be challenges. And then you have made up your mind that as the challenges come, you will resolve them on case by case basis. You are committed to the journey. In business as well, your first 5 years in business, there'll be a lot of challenges, product issues, operational issues, customer issues, recipe issues, material issues, sourcing your raw material. A lot of challenges will come. But you have to be committed to the process. Commitment is not enough. You have to either seek knowledge or seek mentorship. So most businesses fail because, number one, the mindset is faulty. You think it's going to be a smooth ride. But when your mindset understands that nothing good comes easy, you already prepared your mind for that journey. So you have a mental toughness to weather the storm. And you then begin to seek the right knowledge, read books, ask questions, look for mentors. Mentors are Bible. They are the most important uh, 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 ingredient in entrepreneurship development. Look for mentors, those who have done it. How did you do it? When those challenges are coming, don't just keep quiet and fold your. Okay, let's say you have a funding issue. There are people, there are people with capital who just want to be sure that if I give this money to this entrepreneur, my money will come back. You have to demonstrate capacity to those mentors or to those people that you have what it takes to not keep their money but to bring the money back and with interest. If you have operational issues, look for people who are experts. Don't keep, it's not sometimes people will not even charge you their professional fee. But the mere fact that you're trying to survive, they will come and give you one or two tools that can help you to resolve those issues. A closed mouth is a closed destiny. And that is oftentimes the problem with most African businesses that we don't seek mentorship. We don't seek skills development. We are in the wrong business or industry where we do not have the capacity to manage or to deliver value in a way that makes you sustainable. All of these variables oftentimes contribute to business failure. But if you are able to resolve these variables, I didn't come from my father, my parents didn't sell food. They don't have any, they never ran a restaurant. My mother, there's nobody in my family that does this kind of business. But because fundamentally I was already trained, my eyes have been trained to identify problems. My mind has been trained to solve problems and not to give up easily, to constantly resolve issues as they come on case by case basis. My parents taught me how to live one day at a time and resolve issues as they pop up, prioritize issues, always have a scale of preference. What is that thing that I need to do to make sure that I remain viable or contribute to my long-term value? All of those things are things that I was taught growing up because I went to a military school. And these are some things you have to learn in military school. When my parents sent me to military school, Nigerian Navy Secondary School, Abeokuta, I was so upset that why would you want to punish me, send me to a military school? But my years in military school taught me discipline, taught me consistency. You wake up every day, you do your military parade every day, you do it's a routine. And that's what business is about. So a lot of people lack the discipline, the skill, the wherewithal. They don't want to seek help through mentorship. And all of these factors contribute to business failure. But if you're able to resolve them, definitely success is guaranteed.
Human resources is another big problem that people are facing, especially in the continent where we are. How do you manage to resolve that problem?
I mentioned something very early in our interview that human resource is a critical component of entrepreneurial venture. You have to commit to building system, being first of all, being a man of integrity. You see, I can tell you that I have one of the highest staff retainership in this industry. I've had staff that have been working with Jollof Coffee for 5 years. uninterrupted. I've asked staff that we work in Jollof Cafe for 1 year, 2 years, go work in another place, and come back to say, no, boss, please rehire me. We thought it was greener on the other side, but no, here is better. You have to treat people with respect. And I could give you access to my staff. You have to treat people with respect. Do not undermine people because they are working for you. It's very important. Because without that person, you might not have a business. But if people know that you treat them with respect, they will respect you. And they will respect that which you have placed in their hands. That's one. Secondly, you have to create an enabling environment that considers their own well-being. You have to pay people well. In Jollof Cafe, if the minimum wage is 30 rand, 23 or 25 cents, I pay more than minimum wage. There is no staff in Jollof Cafe that earns less than minimum wage. There's none. I have so many staff. There is no one single staff in Jollof Cafe that earns less than minimum wage. So I respect you, whether or not I hired you. I make sure that your salary can take you home and is sustainable for you and your family. Because in my head, one person I hire, about three, that person most likely will have 2 to 3 dependents. So how do you then pay somebody what cannot even take them home and expect them to be committed to what it is that you are giving to them? You have to be a man of integrity. You have to reward performance. In Jollof Cafe, we reward performance. My staff know me for that. If you contribute positively to the business and it shows, you will be rewarded accordingly. People like to be rewarded for their exceptional contribution. We respect I respect as an entrepreneur, as a leader of this organization, I respect everybody. Whether you're a scholar, most people don't respect their staffs. I treat people with integrity. I will not pay you the kind of salary that will not take you home. I reward performance. And lastly, we train. We have a system where if you are a chef, another 2, 3 people are attached to you learning from you. If you are a waiter, 1 or 2 persons is attached to you. Let's say, for example, you're a waiter and your job is digital sales. I have 1, 2, 3 people who are also learning. So we have this skills transfer method that we have developed, that there is no one person in Jollof Cafe that can say, well, I'm the only one that can do this job. No. As you are hired to do this job, I will also hire 1 or 2 persons understudying you. So in your head, you know that you are not dispensable, because we have developed our system in a way that you are being studied. You are training somebody to be able to do the job that you are doing. So training is key. What kind of systems have you put in place to make sure that skills are transferred? Do you pay people minimum wage? And what you are paying them, can they take them home? Do you respect them? And many other things. These are some of the things that we have to resolve to ensure that we keep our staff, we continue to grow in the last 5 years, and we've not had issue of, we had to stop a branch operation because there was no chef. There's no. We've never experienced such, because we've taken care of those issues that could contribute to that breakdown of human resource in our organization.
One of the reasons why we make it to those places, because we believe that this product is doing well, and we believe that it's possible. You also can do it. I don't know what you are thinking in your mind as you are listening to this podcast this hour. The reason why we are here is because we wanted to let you know that do your research, do your homework, get it right at the beginning, and make sure you follow all the steps that he mentioned. Before we say goodbye and being out of your way, let's talk about where you sell those products in the next coming 5 years?
For us, we are not a restaurant. We're not building a restaurant. We are building an hospitality brand, an African hospitality brand. And a restaurant cares about just coming eat. We care about customer service. We care about customer experience. We are building a brand that people can identify with, relate to, reference to. So our long-term goal is not to have series of restaurants. No. Our long-term goal is to build a brand that is part of the culture, that is part of people's daily existence. When I think of I want to drink soft drinks, maybe a Coke comes to my head as what I use to categorize that, what I use to identify that category. Maybe I think of detergent, I'll say Omo when we're growing up. Omo is not the only detergent in that category, but because they have built a system or a product that does not only resolve their cleaning issue, but has also identified, it's part of their culture. So you start seeing people using a particular brand to group a particular category of product. So we are building a brand that when you think of Nigerian food, West African food, Ghanaian food, what comes to your mind is Jollof Cafe. So with that vision in mind, the leading African hospitality business, it means that we are going to be here for a long time. We are scaling abroad. South Africa is a litmus test for us to say that if we can get it right in South Africa, getting it right in Europe is easy. Getting it right in North America is easy because the system is the same. As we speak right now, we have people in America, people in Canada, people in London, people in Dubai speaking to us that whatever system that you have created in the last 5 years and a system that works, that is not only identify the food is not the only identity that the business has. The identity of the business is much more than food. There's a cultural revolution that is taking place with what you're doing. Whatever it is you're doing, we think it can fit into other countries of similar profile. That is the vision we are chasing. And whatever we need to do to perfect the SOP, the standard operating procedure that can easily be replicated in other countries of the world, we'll do it. That's one. Secondly, we are not just building a business or building a brand, we are also building a system that people can make money from, that can resolve people's financial challenges. In the sense that people are able to come into this business and say, you know what, I want something like this replicated in Benoni. We put this place together for them. We implement the systems, we run it, we hand it over to them, and that business becomes a viable entity for them and for their family. So when you are building something that does not only resolve cultural issues, that does not only resolve issues around essential commodity, that also resolves problems around people's economy, such a brand is here to stay. And that is what we're building.
All right, thank you very much. Let's quickly do this because it's very important. Why Jollof Cafe?
Jollof Cafe, why Jollof Cafe? Because the product we are selling has the potential to resolve. I'm over 40. I've been in South Africa for years now. I've never been to the hospital to take any drip. So I see the product that we are selling as not just something that people need to survive, but it's something that could resolve a lot of health challenges in people's lives. Because we come from a culture where medicine, the food, I'm a Yoruba boy. I come from a culture where food is medicine. Food is your own cure to so many things. If you're having diabetes, so say, hello, go and take bitter leaf, hello, go and drink a wuro. You use such a leaf to make food. What do you think is going to happen to your blood sugar? It will drop. So for me, it's not just about money. It's not just about cultural relevance. It's also about exporting what took centuries for my ancestors to develop, which is the potency of the food to resolve health problems. And that for me is not something that I shouldn't share with the world in a proper way, in a way that they can record. I always say that before Christianity, before Islam came, where I come from, we had ways of communing with our gods. They are documented. It's called Ifa. We had food technology that were developed for different ailments. All of these took centuries of research that our fathers embarked on. What we need to do, like the Middle East exported Islam, exported Christianity, like the Americans exporting pharmaceutical, we also have it as a duty to export the benefit of what took our ancestors centuries to develop and that has been packaged in food. The leaves that we use, the ingredient that we use. When you use a locust beans, what does it do to you? What specific health challenge does it do? We have a responsibility with the education we've acquired to take that to the rest of the world. Jollof Cafe affords me that opportunity to share a piece of my culture with the rest of the world.
Wow. Before we say goodbye and before we out of your way, Jollof Cafe is not only selling jollof rice, because a lot of people will tell me, Jollof Cafe is jollof rice. We just go there to go eat jollof rice. This is where you can get all African food, whether Ghanaian, whether Senegalese, whether Nigeria, is here. And that is why we are also here to promote this brand and to tell you, Jollof Cafe is the name of the company. We have a lot of products in there that you can eat. It's like ShopRite, where you get inside ShopRite, there are so many things that you can buy in ShopRite. The same thing with Jollof Cafe. So, sir, Jollof Cafe is a brand that is trending across, and you are selling, like you said, you are selling our own brand, which is our own food. And I believe that one of the things that can take this continent far is eat Africa, speak Africa, wear Africa. Those three things will take our economy forward.
Absolutely.
And if we say that we don't want to talk about it and we don't want to share it to the rest part of the world, we will still remain behind. And this is the time that Africa needs to get it right. Africa to the world, our brand, our food, our culture is very important. And that is what the Africa Portal is promoting, telling the story and making sure that you see the beautiful this continent and you also see the greatness of this continent, Africa. So keep eating African food, keep wearing Africa, keep speaking Africa. Thank you for your time. Goodbye.